Okay, guys, welcome back, my law enthusiasts, to another episode of Lawyer Up Legal Insights Unwrapped. Okay, guys, so you may have heard the judge has made his decision. Fani Willis can stay. So Fani Willis can stay on Georgia Trump case if the ex-boyfriend withdraws. You heard that. So the Atlanta District Attorney's romantic relationship with the lead prosecutor, who she hired to oversee the case, created an appearance of impropriety. The judge said, ruling that the prosecution the prosecution cannot proceed unless he leaves or steps aside. And so here's what we know about the decision according to the New York Times. It states that an Atlanta judge on Friday ruled that Fani T. Willis, the Fulton County DA, could continue leading the prosecution of former Donald J. Trump and his allies in Georgia, but only if her former romantic partner, Nathan Wade, SADA, withdraws from the case. So that means the judge is basically stating, hey, Fani, it's either you or Nathan, but you guys can't continue this case together. So if you want to continue with this case, Nathan's got to go. Or you can leave and your entire office leave. You can decide you want to step down. You can do that as well. So the ruling by Judge Scott McAfee of Fulton Superior Court, cut a middle path. He really did. He cut a middle path between removing Miss Willis for a conflict of interest, which the defense lawyers had sought in her full vindication. The judge sharply criticized her for engaging in a relationship with Mr. Wade, whom she hired as a special prosecutor on the case. He called it a tremendous lapse in judgment. And in the order, he also said that her testimony during the evidentiary hearing was unprofessional. So he had some very strong, harsh words for the elected DA. It says with delays mounting, the case is now unlikely to come to trial before the 2024 presidential election, when Mr. Trump is almost certain to be the Republican nominee. It does look that way now. It says here are the details. Judge McAfee said that disqualifying Ms. Willis, the elected district attorney, is not necessary when a less drastic and sufficiently remedial option is available. He goes on to say that, but he concluded that the prosecution of this case cannot proceed until the state selects one of two options. So he's given them two options here. Either she can step aside along with her office, or Wade can leave, allowing the case to proceed without further distraction. So those are the options, guys, that Fani has if she wants to continue along with this case. It says, although the decision is a setback for Mr. Trump and his 14 co-defendants, leaving in place the DA who has been pursuing the case for more than 3 years. Ms. Willis emerges from weeks of embarrassing hearings, and I will say it's been embarrassing, in headlines with a bruised reputation that could color the views of a future jury, making convictions more difficult. And we all know how jury selection in Atlanta with these RICO trials can be lengthy. If you guys have been following this YSL case, that jury selection was painful. Goes on to say that Mr. Trump and his co-defendants could appeal the judge's ruling, which I suspect we will see that, as could Ms. Willis, further delaying the proceedings and leaving the matter unresolved indefinitely. We don't know when this could, possibly have a final decision. So if they decide to appeal, which I suspect that the co-defendants will. It says the state's Republican-led Senate is also reviewing the conflict of interest accusations, and lawmakers have empowered a new oversight commission to investigate and potentially remove prosecutors. And see, this is where I think that the judge's decision is really a win-win for him and Fani. And here's why. This judge is really hard. It's really hard to get around the political undertones here. He's a newly elected judge. He's running for re-election in this upcoming race. He's in Fulton County, which is a heavily African-American community. We all know that. Ruling against Fani to disqualify her will likely have some sort of impact within that community and his chance to be reelected. Does the judge want to continue being a judge? Of course he does. Yes, he absolutely does. He's only 34 years old. He just got that seat. You know, he wants to continue in that position. So I think, based on the legal standard, I think his decision was fair in the sense that, okay, did the defense actually prove that there was an actual conflict of interest? The bar is high for trial courts in terms of disqualifying an elected DA. He says this in his order. Did they prove actual conflict of interest? I kind of have to agree with the judge that no, they really didn't. Did they prove an appearance of a conflict of interest? Absolutely, absolutely, but not an actual conflict of interest. And he makes some really good points in his order, which we will go over later. But I think that what this judge is doing is basically just kicking this decision, this can right on down the road. And this newly appointed oversight commission that Governor Kemp has stood up and empowered, they have the authority to remove prosecutors. And you can bet that they absolutely are going to pick this up, continue to investigate Fani Willis, and they will be making some sort of decision on whether or not she is able to continue being a DA within Fulton County. I absolutely see an investigation proceeding on Fani and a decision being made. So again, this to me, yeah, it looks like a win for Fani at this time, but this is just the beginning. There's the bar, which he mentions. There's this oversight commission. There's the Congress. There's right now an investigation on fraud with Jim Jordan, Republican Jim Jordan. So there's just so many different authoritative bodies that are now investigating. I think that this is just, for now, again, just the kicking on down the road. The judge did what was best for, I hate to say this, for himself. And he did get rid of the appearance of a conflict of interest. It's like, listen, Fani, if you want to stay on this case, you got to let your little boy toy go, But what attorney would want to sit and work with Fani now, seeing all the chaos around this Fulton County DA and the investigations that we have to expect are going to be coming from this, out of this. I can't see I don't see how an attorney, I don't see how it's going to be easy for her to find an attorney to want to work with her on this. I think it's going to be somewhat challenging. She's going to have a challenge there. And so we'll see what happens. But let me just go on. It does say the Judge McAfee's decision came 2 days after he quashed 6 charges in the case against Trump and his 14 co-defendants, including one related to a call that Mr. Trump made to pressure Georgia's Secretary of State in early January 2021. But he left intact the rest of the racketeering indictment, which initially included 41 counts. Now, I did think, guys, once I heard that 6 of the charges were being dismissed, I felt like that was a signal to the defendants, to the defense, that, okay, I'm giving you guys I'm giving you a little leeway here. I'm going to dismiss 6 of the charges because I'm not going to disqualify Fani. I'm not, but I'm giving you a little bit, and I'm giving Fani, you can stay. Nathan leaves. Defense, I'm going to remove 6 of the charges. He was, it just, that's the appearance. I mean, we're all talking about appearance here. It seems like appearance and political undertones are forefront here. That's what it looks like to me. But I'm not surprised by this judge's decision, but I do think that he made the best decision given the appearance of the conflict, and let these other authoritative bodies make a determination as to whether or not Fani needs to be removed once they do some further investigation, which I suspect will continue to happen. So again, we'll see. We'll continue to watch this, but I suspect that this is not the last we've heard of Fani Willis and her seat, her being able to keep her seat as the elected district attorney. So that's all I have for you guys right now. We will come back and we will later review this order that the judge has released. And so we'll see exactly what his thoughts were in terms of making his decision on the hearing. with Fani in the disqualification hearing. So again, stay lawful, stay insightful, and happy Friday to everyone. And we will chat it up later.